What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, we're going to give our review, a little discussion about last night's episode of The Walking Dead. That'll be Season 7, Episode 11, titled Hostiles and Calamities. All right. I've already gotten some shit for this one from friends and family. I don't understand why people didn't like this episode. I mean, I get it that people don't like the slower episodes, but when you get this much story like that we got with Dwight and Eugene and this much character development, how could you not like the story? And I don't get how people don't like Negan and don't like the Sanctuary. I love both of them. Actually, I love the Sanctuary so much, and I think I have a good understanding of it now. I'm gonna do another video later in the week, maybe tomorrow, or the next day, just kind of breaking down what I've gotten from the TV version of the Sanctuary. All right. Okay, so this episode was entirely at the Sanctuary, as you know. It's kind of like a little, not a flashback, but the episodes are kind of out of order. This one takes place, even though it's episode 11, it actually takes place right after episode 8. I loved it. So let's talk about each story separately. Let's talk about Eugene's story first. Now I know a lot of you are either confused about what was going on with Eugene, or you feel a certain way about it. And what I'm going to say is I feel that you're both right. Everybody's right in this case, I feel. Except for the uncertain people, of course. But if you're leaning one way or the other to whether he's a traitor or whether he's up to being a hero, I think you're both right in a way. I'll explain. All right, so we see that as soon as Eugene gets there and starts getting pressed by the saviors and all that, he starts to kind of get a read on Negan, and he realizes that he could play Negan the same way he played Abraham in the group. And that's exactly what he does. He tells the exact same lie, just with a little less confidence than that he tells Abraham and the rest of the group. The rest of our group. And Negan doesn't really buy it at first, I don't think. And that's why he kind of presses him a little harder. And Eugene goes a little bit harder. Oh, it means I'm a doctor, blah, 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 blah. And I think Negan still isn't quite sure. Can't really get a read on Eugene like that because Eugene only shows one emotion, and that's fear. The rest of the time, he's straight deadpan. Like, that's the character, right? So I think it's hard for Negan to read him. So then he asks him, I think, finally, just to kind of test to see if he's really a smarty pants, if he's really a Dr. Smarty Pants, he presses him about the walker problem at the gate. How do I keep him there from ripping apart and roaming away or whatever? And Eugene's answer to that, his solution to Negan's problem, is brilliant in my opinion, to pour the liquid metal on them, let it harden, and then they'll be stuck there. But not only is it brilliant, I can see where Eugene got it. I don't remember what episode number it is, but in last season, the episode where Abraham and Eugene find the factory that he can make the bullets in, there was that walker there with like the melted metal or whatever on his head. And I think Eugene got the idea from there, because he tells Negan about the factory and all that, and I think it's clicking in his head like that memory when he's asking him about the walker problem. And Eugene's like, wow, well, you can, that memory's like fresh in his head. He was just thinking about it. So, you could just cover him with the metal. Mad smart. Eugene is a genius. I know he's not really a scientist, and I know a lot of people look at him like a pussy, which he is. I mean, he admits it. He totally agrees that he's a coward, right? How could you not? But he's so smart in how he can feel people out and kind of give them what he feels they need. He can make himself useful to them with the knowledge that he has, however he has it. Really like what they did with Eugene in this episode, because the whole episode is really him learning how to play the saviors. So I know a lot of people are looking at it like, well, he's a traitor, he's just doing it the coward's way. Now, yeah, that's part of it. Part of it is he had to find a way to save his life. He had to find a way to not get beat up or whatever the fuck he thought was going to happen to him. So he starts to go along with the Negan thing, right? To save his life. So yeah, coward's way, but it's also smart. Survival of the fittest. The zombie apocalypse, there's no other way out. So he can't rely on things like Rick or Abraham or Daryl or Michonne to get out of these sticky situations. He's got to rely on whatever weapons he's got. And the only weapon Eugene has that he knows how to use, just like how the other characters know how to use firearms, is his brain. So, yes, he's doing it to be a coward to start. I do feel, and I'll get into this in the predictions video maybe down the road, but I definitely feel like where he ends this episode, he's on the mindset that I'm not useless. No matter who knows or doesn't know that I'm useful. Not only can I work the system with Rick and Abraham, I can work the system of the saviors. I can be the one to help the group out. Now, maybe he doesn't feel that way because he's not close with anybody really in the group. But I feel like Eugene is not going to go bad. He's a coward. And I think he's going to turn that around and flip it on its head and show some balls and some bravery. Now, do I think he's going to get gangster, running around shooting up everything? No. But I do think he's going to get like early Breaking Bad Walter White and come up with a way to either sabotage the saviors or to help the group out like with information or something. But I love Eugene's storyline. Everything with the wives and just how he learned to circumvent and navigate around the saviors. Like how he goes up to that lady for the medicine. She shits on him. He turns away. And then he remembers what the chick told him. You got to take what you want. You want something? Take it. So he turns around and he mans up. And he does. He fucking floored everybody. I was taken back. The lady that he was talking to was taken back. So, awesome job. Alright, so that's pretty much it about Eugene. I do think he's not a traitor, but I definitely think he's on some coward shit at first. But I think that it's already evolved in his head to where he's trying to map out how he's going to help out the survivors, right? Our group. Okay. Now let's get to Dwight. I loved what they did with Dwight. I thought they were going one way with Dwight. I thought they were going to go totally goody two-shoes with Dwight, where he's so conflicted that he would just, all the bad stuff that he was doing, sorry about that, it's an alarm, all the bad stuff that he was doing, he was doing just to stay alive. Now, one can argue that the stuff he does in this episode is also to stay alive. But it's so grimy that it's hard to see both sides of, it's hard to see the reason why he did it as an acceptable excuse. So why does he fuck over the doctor that way? Well, it's kind of obvious. The whole episode, every interaction Dwight has with the doctor's shitting on Sherry. Dwight loves Sherry, and he thinks that she left to meet him at the spot, the house, whatever. And he's shitting on Sherry, his love, shitting on her, calling her weak, blah, 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 when Dwight knows that Sherry is strong. I took it in past episodes at the sanctuary that Dwight and the doctor didn't really care for each other anyway, for whatever reason. Um, all right, so then Dwight goes to the house. He goes to the house and he sees that, Sherry's not there. He had brought beer and pretzels. I guess that was their thing, beer and pretzels. He leaves it there, I guess, maybe just in case she rolls through the house. She knows that Dwight was there. That's what I got from it. That's why he leaves the beer and pretzels there. Was just in case Sherry decided to go to the house, which I don't think that's going to happen. But, from the sound of the note, she was out. But I'm sure we'll see her again. All right, so then that was a great scene, though, with the narration of the letter and Dwight, sitting there looking at the rings and the cigarette and all his connections to Sherry. And, you can see the love and the sadness in his face. And you always could. Every time him and Sherry were on screen together, you could always see that love and sadness. Dwight does a really good job. The actor, Austin Emilio, he does a really good job at displaying Dwight's feelings very subtly, though. Dwight is like Daryl. You really have to pay attention to pick up on the little nuances of his personality and his emotions and what he's thinking. So, kudos again to the writers. This episode, to me, had strong writing. And, I might have been slower paced, but I feel like I got a lot of information out of it. So now then Dwight goes back and decides he's going to fuck over the doctor. Now, why does he decide he's going to fuck over the doctor? He's sitting in the doctor's room. And, well, actually, I think even before he was in the doctor's office that last time, he was pretty sure that's what he was going to do. Was going to frame the doctor. He don't like him. He's shitting on him. Whatever. Shitting on Sherry. Whatever. So, yeah. I definitely think that was his reason for screwing over Dr. Carson. Totally surprised. Did I think Dr. Carson was going to get burned? Yes. Did I think he was going to get beat? Possibly. Did I think he was going to get thrown into a fire like he was Hansel and Gretel? Absolutely not. I did not see that coming. Not a mile away. Did not see it coming. And then Dwight's nefarious look into the camera is fucked up because he doesn't feel the least bit of remorse about what he just was a party to. He actually feels proud that Negan bought his story, and I understand why. All right, he loves Sherry. He wants her to get away, and he wants to live and not be tortured or whatever. He wants to live as comfortably as he can. Dwight is kind of a coward too, if you think about it, the way he goes about things. Not much different from Eugene. This episode was kind of both, two coward stories in a way. Love Negan every time he's on screen. Just want to say that. He was definitely more of the intimidating Negan that I've talked about in past videos, that I talk about with all my family and friends, where we have an equal amount of funny and intimidating, scary. And I think he was definitely scarier this episode than he's been since the premiere. All right. So that's pretty much it. I like the episode. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. As I always say, I'm a little biased. I wouldn't take off a whole point. If you're not a huge die-hard Walking Dead fan, I wouldn't take off a whole point. I would take off about a half a point. Why I say that is I always say that when I'm biased to things, when I'm a super fan of something, my rating may be slightly higher than the average viewer. So I always will let you know whether I feel like if you're not hardcore, maybe you want to take off a point or a half a point. So I would take off a half a point if you're not hardcore and give it a 3.5. But I'm sticking with a 4. I liked it. Solid episode. Good story. We got a lot of information about the working of the sanctuary. As I said earlier, I'm going to do another video about that. So hopefully we can get into a nice discussion about the sanctuary and how it works. All right, that's it. You got anything you want to say? Comments, opinions, thoughts, whatever, hit me up down below. If you like the video, you want to be a part of the Screen Fiend fam, you want to see more stuff, definitely subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. Hey, you got anything bad to say? Hit me up on that too. Thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Let's just get something going. All right. You guys have a good night, and I will see you next time.